Just laugh so that we look good on the live stream.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Natalie Mikishko and Caleb Pierce, and this is Smart Business Moves.
Woohoo! Hey, y'all. We do have a couple more guests coming too, Tom, just FYI. Cris from Chris's Cleans is coming. She,
Chris Reconco
yeah, yeah,
and Katie Lambert.
that's right. So they'll be here a little bit later.
Okay. But we're going to hold down the fort with the four of us here. We're going to have a lot of fun, and they're going to miss it. And we'll just have to help them catch up when they get here.
That's right. So probably have everybody introduce themselves first. Yeah.
Ladies first.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Natalie Mikishko, and I am the owner of Majestic Domestics, which started in 2011. And then I became the owner of Clean Conscience in July of 22. And I've survived to tell about it. So here I am.
Yay. So, and your situation is unique. Everybody has a little something that they do a little bit differently, but you kept separate names.
Yes, I did. I did that. The Clean Conscience had been in business for 15 years prior to me picking it up. And so they had an awareness, brand awareness in our town and in the same county that I live in and I work in. The difference being that it's a green cleaning company, and I have my original old-fashioned toxic cleaning company. So that's the difference.
Tom, I'm wondering if you recognize the name Clean Conscience and who used to own it.
I know who. I know. I'm drawing a blank on the name though.
Well, do you know where he lived? I mean, I feel like that's...
Yeah, it was Colorado.
There you go. Greg.
Machi.
Yes, exactly. Yep, that's him.
Yeah, all
but
right.
It wasn't Denver. It was like one of the ski communities. Is it Aspen?
No, he wasn't up that way. He's in Denver. He had two offices, one in Denver and one in Boulder County.
Boulder, okay.
Yeah, and that's where I started it off in Boulder for Majestic.
Okay. So did you buy the business from Greg?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he had it for sale prior to COVID, and I was really keeping my eye on it and kind of wanted it. And, we had a couple meetings about it, but then I got cold feet because it was a large number he was asking for. And I just didn't know if I could pull it off. And then a sad thing after COVID, his business was cut in half. His management staff, his cleaning staff was cut in half. And he was just tired and didn't want to put the effort or the money back into building it up again to what it was before COVID. And that's when he came after and called me and asked me to buy it. And then we started negotiating again for that point. So yeah, it worked out really good for both of us in the long run. But yeah, so that's how I came about this new company.
And then that number was a lot smaller, I'm guessing, after COVID. So
it was a lot smaller. It was a lot smaller.
Cool. Well, we'll dig into details and stuff in a little bit.
Yes.
Caleb, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Caleb. I'm married to Tara Pierce. We're in the Dayton, Ohio area. And at this point, we've acquired one company in the past. So Pink Power Cleaning has been around, I would say, since early 2000s. My 18-year-old daughter, I have photos of her cleaning in the past when she was kind of she fell off a washer when she was in a baby infant carrier. So proves how long we've been doing it there. She's recovered.
Finally.
Is that Sarah?
Sarah, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's actually launched another vertical. So it's pest control. With that, we did seek out purchasing into that industry. Their marketing multiple is higher than what we could afford to do. But it was great having. So we did actually meet with someone about buying their company locally. And so I have some interesting ways that you can find out if someone's interested in selling on that. And then we did buy a home cleaning company, Castle Keepers, back in the middle of COVID / the very beginning of COVID. And, things worked out good. And we're actually right now in talks with someone about buying their local company. And so it's interesting at different increments of if a company produces $300,000 a year revenue or 500 or a million, or, those different numbers produce a very different number of what we're willing to offer.
Yeah. Hey, Cris.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. You're in your hotel room now?
Yep, finally made it.
Where you at, Cris?
I am in Sweden right now.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is
I didn't know
dark.
you were in Sweden. Oh, I didn't realize you were in Sweden. Oh, that's very cool. Wow.
I was wondering where it was. It was so dark out behind you.
It is 11. It is actually 11:10 right now.
Wow.
I have not slept since yesterday, but
Oh.
Well, your timing is perfect. We were just introducing ourselves. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your business.
of course. All right, so my name is Cris Reconco. I am the owner of Chris's Cleaning Services. I've been in business for technically about 12 years. I usually call it the 4 year of those I was doing illegally. It was just myself. But now I'm just doing it from here. What else? That's pretty much it.
So the topic today is like acquisitions. Have you bought any other cleaning businesses?
Not necessarily purchase. Yes, I purchased one in Arizona, which is a tiny little one that I just started to absorb right now. And then I have done a power wash right now, and I became partner with one cleaning company not too long ago.
Okay.
So she has a lot of different
Yeah.
things that she's doing, right? But I believe everybody's doing this toward the idea of being able to scale more quickly, right? And take advantage of some of the different opportunities that come along from scaling. So
Correct.
that's kind of why I wanted y'all to be here to talk a little bit more about that. Caleb, so you had said that you did not buy your pest control. Are you starting from scratch then?
We are starting from scratch.
Okay.
So with that one, the cleaning business has enough profit that we could take the hit for a year or more, to fund it. And so, we're right now 9 weeks or 10 weeks into revenue of that business.
Oh, wow. So I didn't know it had been that long. That's amazing. All right. Someday we're going to bring you on, Caleb, just to talk about profit margins, because you are really good at keeping a nice big profit margin, right? So you also said that you were looking at buying another company locally, cleaning?
Yes. So this one, my brother introduced us to him, and it's a commercial cleaning company. They have about $450,000 a year revenue. Something that makes buying a company that size a little bit more difficult is that they might not have the systems such as software to verify information. They have QuickBooks, but what I love about running Made Central and QuickBooks is it verifies both systems, because someone can do a double entry into QuickBooks pretty easily.
Yeah. I hadn't actually really thought about that before. So that makes sense. All right. So where should we start here, Tom? I know that people are going to want to hear about a lot of different things. Any ideas on, because there's we could probably talk for hours on this topic. Any ideas on where we should start?
Yeah. I mean, just the whole idea of acquiring another business when you already have one is there's risk involved in that. So you need to have like a purpose, strategic, reasons for doing it. Maybe it would be useful just to start there. Why would you even want to think about buying somebody else's business as opposed to just building your own?
I could jump in there. Well, for me, the reason for a second business was more of my original company, Majestic Domestics, is more my luxury brand, and sometimes it's out of people's budget for my cleaning service. And so I thought if I could have a second company where if I lost a lead for Majestic Domestics, that I would be able to scoop them up on the clean conscience side. So that my marketing dollars would be stretched farther, and we would not have so many lost leads just going to another company. And I wanted to grab them on the back end, and that has worked really well for us. And having a green cleaning company, I just tell them it's the same great clean, but it's less expensive for the cleaning supplies and some of the equipment that we use. And so that justifies a lower price. And that's been working pretty well for us.
So you would call that a strategic acquisition. You did it for more than just getting more homes and more revenue.
Right. And their pricing was not as high as mine. And so their current clients were paying, making less of a profit of that in that company. And I was okay with it because, like Caleb had said, my profit from Majestic Domestics was pretty good, pretty hearty, and we were in the black. We never were in debt there. So I was able to spread that profit margin over to share with the clean conscience side until we could slowly move those clients up in pay and so forth.
Okay.
All right. And I like that you said it has worked out pretty well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. So that was your strategic plan. I'd love to hear, Cris, Caleb, what was your plan? What were you?
For the very first one I basically did it because I think I had the wrong mindset to it. I wanted to take somebody over in my industry, which was quite frankly, the wrong mindset. I took those clients and I took the company, and basically I don't think that worked out very well because I still have the clients. I myself did not feel good afterwards because I felt like I took away the livelihood of a person in my same industry, especially when I executed a very straightforward non-compete NDA. So afterwards, I actually felt really bad. So my lesson there was, ouch.
So, but they willfully sold you their business. Yeah. So part of that was they signed was it a non-compete agreement where?
Correct.
Okay. And did they then come back and want to start another cleaning business in that same market?
Yep. Okay. And executing that part was quite a few lessons learned on that is one, a non-compete doesn't truly exist in the US anyways. Number two is, why are you truly doing this? Are you truly doing it to scale? Or are you actually doing it to step over and become what we call dominant on the market? Because that was one of the parts that I was trying to figure out. And I can actually believe I can become dominant without having to take anybody over.
So it's interesting, though, that I've never heard anybody talk about feeling bad about buying somebody out. I mean, there was a win for them as well, right? I mean, assuming that you bought their company, they wanted to sell it, you let them out of their deal. I mean, I feel like that's a win-win.
You would think it's a win-win because when you're first doing the sale, you get all the potential, you get all the money. I don't mix Chris's cleaning services with any other ones. It's completely separate, all of them. The reason I feel bad is because I felt I took away their opportunity because the company is very successful
Mhm.
and they just didn't know how to do it.
Oh,
Would you
wow.
take it away, or but they sold it to
Yeah,
you,
they
and you compensated them for that? I mean,
What were the other options? Yeah, like
I bought it for really cheap.
I mean, great, good for you, high five. But also, a lot of times, what happens is people want out. They don't want to learn how to build their business in a different way. They don't want to have a part of it. They want to just get out. So,
Right, but if supposedly they wanted just to get out, turns around and she wants to do it again, she didn't truly want out.
all right, well, I mean, she can always open up in another market.
yeah. I
Well,
mean,
that's what the attorneys actually said to her, and the one of the lessons I learned is, no matter what, attorneys will always win.
Huh.
Always.
they'll always make
So
money.
They'll
Yeah.
always make more money. Yeah.
they always win. So that was my thing. Now the second one on the power wash that I did, I actually did that one better. I did absorb that through Chris's cleaning. That one was very small. That one was just $10,000, but it was pretty small. That one is the guy is moving out, and I bought all the clients, and they're with me, and most of his clients stay, but majority of them have gone out. So
What do you mean they've gone out?
because he never truly had a contract with his actual clients. So most of the clients, I will say about 20% of those clients, they actually left, and I only have left with the 80% of those clients. So do I like it? No. But is that something I should have looked into it? Yes.
Well, I do want to get into that, how many clients do you end up keeping, blah, blah, blah. But first, I'd love to hear about your strategy, Caleb. What's been your strategic thinking here?
I do want to deviate for a moment because there was a time we did sell our cleaning company to my sister-in-law for 6 months.
Oh.
So I do understand a little bit of your seller's kind of buyer remorse, to where she's like, "Oh, I don't like this," and then she realizes it's not so bad. Because there are a lot of nice things in this industry that's attracted us and others into it. My strategy really.
So when you sold your business to your sister-in-law, did you wind up buying it back 6 months later?
Yeah, we did.
Is that because she couldn't manage it? She was losing it? What happened?
This business requires a lot of soft-spokenness in relation to clients to keep everyone happy and to keep teammates happy. She didn't have that ability. I mean,
Ask Liz. I don't have that.
I'm looking at Cris right now, right? I'm thinking of her stories of cussing out her employees. And her
You mean you didn't sell the big kid gloves when you sold the business that you need to sell for client and cleaner communication?
No, it didn't work out. But everyone was happy with our deal when we came back, and she was ready to get out. We were ready to get in. So it was nice.
Yeah.
Our strategy, though, moving forward when we're acquiring companies, our big focus in life is about the number of lives we touch each week, which the number of lives we touch is related to a dollar figure. So we are about making more money. But we want to make people smile, and we want to make them really happy. And when someone else wants to sell, it's because they're not happy in the business. And if someone else is not happy, eventually their client base is going to drop, because they're not going to have that joy of pleasing their customers. And really, so with us, our strategy when it comes to selling, we do want educated people that understand the value of their company. That, you know, like with something I really loved about when we were super small, when Liz knew us, she's like, guys, like we were retaining 60% of our money or more because Tara was working 60, 70 hours a week. But when you become a 1 million, 2 million and more, you know, the margins might dip a little bit. Well, they dip a lot less than that 60%. But, you know, our strategy, it is to acquire people. We're going to bring them in under the Pink Power name because we're huge on local branding. Pink Power is, and it sticks out very easily. We're very well known in the communities as people, and so, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you are very much focused on more clients, more money, and just growing your footprint.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Tom.
No, so part of the thinking, Caleb, is you're going to be doing acquisitions in other geographic markets, other cities?
So for the last year, we've been focusing heavily on our systems book. So that way, in the beginning, we're going to acquire here more in the Dayton market again, because it's easier to buy a client list of 100 than it is to market and gain 100 clients, especially if you buy it at the right price. So in the beginning, it's going to be focusing on the local. Probably in the next 2 years, we're going to, after our systems can be proven, we're going to try some theories of different remote locations. I don't know how that totally will work. That's why I don't want to be that guy that's like, it's going to go great. And then you guys are like, Caleb?
All right, so going to a question that we asked a couple minutes ago, or that we kind of brought up a couple minutes ago, is retention, right? You buy a new company, and a year in, what was your retention numbers? What percentage of your clients were you able to keep, versus how many did you lose for whatever reason? Do y'all know?
I lost 50% of my clients, and I was okay with that. Because these were the way that they had quoted previous to me taking over Clean Conscience was by the room, and so those we do the whole house and then an add-on as a basement, where this one's like clean this room and then not that room, clean this, and it was like kind of cherry picked what they wanted. Mm-hmm. So in reality, it was taking a lot longer to do the house because the cleaners were cleaning the whole house anyways. And so when we figured out in this new company that these people were getting a great price for what was supposed to be half the cleaning, and it was just not profitable. So when I changed the rule to we're going to clean the whole house every time and the basement is an add-on, a lot of people didn't like that, and I was okay with that, you know. And then there was a lot of monthly clients as well that were not paying in our price point, like a higher price. They're paying actually like a weekly price for their monthly cleaning, which, as you know, takes longer. And we had to bump that up. So we started, you know, just knocking the low hanging, non-profitable, ugly fruit off of our tree, and that's what happened.
I love the ugly fruit, right? So that also was strategic then for you, right? Yes. You decided that you wanted to eliminate these people, put your brand new pricing structure in place for them, but you still kept the lower price point, right?
Yes. Yeah. For especially the weekly and biweekly clients, of which we wanted to keep. It was the monthly clients, and that they had a lot of monthly clients too, that we just wanted to clean that up. And that's probably where
So
we
you
lost.
lost half the homes, but not half the revenue.
Right, exactly. And their payroll was out of whack. And so once I started getting into there and doing that, then their labor to
Yeah.
sales was getting better quickly, a
So
lot better.
some of this kind of falls under lessons learned when you're doing an acquisition. You need to look at, what is their scope of work versus your typical scope of work? How do they price? There's a lot of things that might not match up.
Right. And that was even the cleaners that worked for Clean Conscience knew that we weren't charging enough. And I mean, they knew it. They would see the price and they're like, that's how are they doing it, And so if the cleaners know that you're not charging enough, you're not charging enough.
How were you paying your cleaners? Were you paying hourly?
They were paid hourly. Yes. Hourly and mileage, all these other things. Yeah. All these. Yeah.
A lot of times, if they're being paid hourly, they could care less what you're charging.
Exactly.
I think that's why I'm like, she's making a point here. Oh, they must be hourly. Because if they were percentage or job ticket hour, allowed hours, of course they're paying attention because their money's getting hit, right?
Yes.
But if they're not even being impacted monetarily and they're like, it's too low.
Yeah. They didn't care. Funny. They were still getting paid.
Yeah. And sometimes more money than was affordable.
Right.
Apparently. Yeah. All right. How about Cris, Caleb? How about y'all? How many clients did you keep? What percentage after like a year? Do you know?
Oh, I can't tell you about a year because for me has not been a year.
Okay.
With the 3 acquisition. I have not have that under my belt. I got the partner one and I got the cleaning house, the houses, and then I got the power wash.
Power wash.
And so far with the one I know for a fact is I'm looking at it closely because I want to dominate that part right there is the power wash. I've lost 20% so far and it has not been 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's a huge loss for me.
How often does someone have their home power washed?
So in Arizona, you're going to get your house power wash between, if you're really good to your house, about 3 to 6 months or once a year.
Oh, wow.
So you still get those as a reoccurring only because the sun is so bad. And then you get the monsoon and then you get all that horrible sun and all the other stuff that comes along with it. You want to do that. Otherwise, your paint will go bad within 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
I would think faster than that where you live. It's so crazy there. I think my paint over here lasts about 5 years before it's like, it's starting to look kind of shabby.
Yep.
I would imagine yours to be closer to like 2 to 3 years. It's so crazy hot there. Just so intense.
Yeah.
I know.
Temperatures like 120 degrees earlier this year.
I know, and I thrive on that. I'm having a horrible time. I just landed in here in Gothenburg. Oh my God, it's so cold. And it's summer.
Is it so cold, like 85 degrees or something?
No. Yeah.
How about you, Caleb? What was your number? Do you know?
So I think so with us, something that made it different is that there was the complete shutdown. So the true client retention rate got fuzzy, shall we say.
Yeah, real fuzzy.
I think those that actually decided to come over, I think really a year later, we still had 50% of those people.
Okay.
So the retention for the industry based upon, you're going to lose 5% of your clients a month, it was actually really good. Now, it's something that we were able to do because the software could pre-analyze is we could look at it and say, you know what? The cleaners have been in that house for 3 hours at a time, and they're only charging $50. It wasn't that bad. But, easy math. They'd be like, we're not even, we would call them and say, hey, would you want to come over? The price is going to be this.
Yeah.
But really, we still have some of those clients that we still clean for to this day. And, it actually was really the client base was a very friendly client base. They came across. I think something that helped is when your core values align with, not that every core value in your life has to align with your client's core values, but the more that can happen, it makes that transition so much smoother. And that's really what happened, especially because if you were wanting your home clean during COVID, you had certain core values that line with it.
Yeah, you had different stuff going on. All right, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about how the shutdown, all of that stuff really impacted your retention numbers. Yeah, and bringing people back. Oof, I'm thinking.
And the company you acquired must have had awesome core values too.
They did.
Yeah, I remember that.
They didn't have any $50 jobs, did they?
No. They weren't that dumb.
He said it was an exaggeration.
Okay.
Did you, so going to the operational piece of this, did you, Caleb, you said that you contacted the people that were low, like the $50 jobs, right? Bring them over. But did you
exaggerated $50?
Yeah, you exaggerated. Did you contact all the clients? I'd love to hear about how y'all did the actual transition.
So the initial reach out that we did was most of the communication, I believe, was through actually email with the former company. And so the local guy that represented the former company, he just kind of sent out an email, said, hey, here's the new company. They're going to be able to take care of you guys. And so it actually produced, the nice thing is the other company had only been, I think at the time of us actually fully acquiring them, had only been shut down for 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And so it didn't provide much of, especially at that time, all companies were shut down. No one was transitioning. So it really made that process a lot easier. And it was just an email. Because again, how do you phone call 100 clients?
Yeah.
It's very difficult. But I think on our side, proactively, we were calling the clients that were active up until COVID, saying, hey, if you guys want it serviced, we're happy to help you. And
when things open back up again.
Correct.
All right, cool. How about you, Natalie? What did you do?
We kept it really quiet because at the beginning, I didn't know how to handle having the Majestic Domestics and Clean Conscience. And so we just kept it really quiet. I don't think there was any really formal announcement. We did send out an email when we switched over software systems and how we needed credit cards again. And we just kind of put in a blurb that there's a new management team and just, it was really not a big to do. Just, I didn't want to scare the cleaners. I didn't want to scare, the new clients and stuff like that. I just wanted it to be like, work is, the same as yesterday will be today and tomorrow. I just wanted it to be a smooth transition. No,
There wasn't really a reason to even bring anything up since you kept the name, you kept saying cleaners, right?
Yeah, we had the same management team for the beginning of the transition.
So did the cleaning technicians were they aware that there was a new owner?
So this was one of the sore spots in part of my negotiation is that I was really upset that the past owner of Clean Conscience did not want to tell the management team that the company was for sale. And they had been with him, the general manager 5 years and the office manager 3 years. And that didn't line up with my core values. And it was a real sticking point about that. I didn't feel good about coming in and taking over this team that's going to be very angry, and I get to deal with the aftermath.
So you didn't want to tell them during the process or after the fact?
During the process, he didn't want to tell them because he was afraid of losing the management team, and then and selling a company would not have a management team in place.
My
And so,
experience, that's not unusual. Most sellers want to keep that close to the vest until
and they did, and he did.
the deal is done. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I could kind of understand now. I could kind of understand it, but at that point when we were negotiating, I was really nervous because I needed that team to be in place. I did not want them to go anywhere. I wanted them to continue as always. Like I was going to really be leaning on them until I got to know the clients and the cleaners and how their culture goes. And so I was really, really nervous about that. And they were very upset when I came in one day and he introduced me as the new owner. And cleaners were not, they weren't as nervous as the management was. And I still have 50% of my cleaners. So that's wonderful. That's been a wonderful addition. And, but the management team didn't even last. The office manager left after 2 months and the general manager left after 4. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, looking back on it though, was that a bad thing or maybe a good thing if they were good?
It's a good thing. It was a good thing. I found out, at the end that there was a lot of pot stirring going on, a lot of getting the cleaners nervous that I wasn't financially stable, which was kind of funny because, why would I buy a company and then immediately lose it within a couple of months, right? Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of, they had the pride of ownership because the last owner was an absentee owner, but it was a little too much. It was a little, they really were angry that they didn't get an opportunity to buy the business and that they weren't in control anymore, that I was actually in the office every day. They really didn't like that. And when I was questioning things, they didn't like that either. So I kind of disrupted their day-to-day management style, I guess.
And you changed up how the company was run. Up until that point, they were in charge. They did what they wanted, etc. Then you came in. You're like, yeah, you're second-class citizens now. I'm doing all the stuff.
I just had the best. We had a quarterly meeting about 2 weeks ago. And one of the original cleaners from Clean Conscience, she said, I was thinking 3 years ago compared to today and how much the business has changed. And I'm like, and she goes, and I love working here. And we get a lot less complaints. We're making good tips. And so it was really like warmed my heart that she saw the value of me taking over the company and the changes for the positive. And she's not a brown nose. She's actually very honest. So I was very happy to hear that.
Nice. I would be too. Well, I mean, just those numbers speak to that transition going well, keeping that many of the cleaners. That's not as common.
Right.
We hear those transitioning much, much more quickly.
And if you're buying a business that's been declining, then the odds are pretty good that you're going to want a new management team anyway.
It's true.
As scary as that is going into it day one, the sooner you deal with that, the sooner you can get things going in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah, they're the ones that got you there.
Yeah, the Majestic team, management team, which was just little, was me and one other office manager and a VA. So we just straddled both companies, until we got more help to help. And that I have one management team for both companies.
Cris, your acquisition with the power washing is a little bit different. It's a complementary service that I can get internal, I can get my house clean, maid service, if you will, and be a power washing client too. Yeah. Have you had success cross-selling and selling both those services to your house cleaning customers?
Yes and no. So the one problem, the reason I bought this other company is because we've been trying for Chris's Cleaning, trying to do power washing, and we haven't been able to. So moving the power washing from Chris's Cleaning and putting it into this other company, it has worked. But now the problem that I'm having is letting for example, my commercial cleaning accounts, which are the large ones, understand that XYZ company, it is the same as Chris's cleaning services.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So whenever they come over, because I'm keeping everything separated,
Okay.
they're having a hard time. It's like, well, who's this one? It's like, it's me. It's just a different cleaning. It's a different company.
Different name.
So, and that's something I just came along. As a matter of fact, that was last week because we were doing a post-construction theater, and they wanted the outside of the theater power wash, and they wanted the parking lot along with the perimeter of the theater where they have all the, I'll say, construction supplies. They basically were in a iffy about it, and finally, up until I think Friday of last week, they finally were okay with it, us coming over with a different company name, different uniforms, and all that. So even though it's an addition, I'm still having a hard time with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of some of the nuances of that. Yeah, I did think with Natalie's easier, right? Same employees, same uniform, same, right? Everything's the same. Not really much of a change. Don't even have to do anything about it. But yeah, your situation is a little bit different. Plus, you're doing you've got 3 acquisitions going on in less than 6 months, right?
Correct. I wouldn't call them 3. I call one more of a partner, and that's a different learning curve where you get someone like me, me, control freak and all that, and then having to let go to control.
Yeah. So, but that is, I mean, it's getting a wider footprint is what you did, right? You guys are on as partners, but you're still trying to, grow your footprint.
I'm a silent partner. I'm like, whatever. Well, at this point, yeah, I'm more of that, and it's really weird for me.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time picturing you as a silent partner.
Oh God, it's very hard, but it's a learning thing. I was like, try this one. If it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it does not.
Yeah, we'll move forward. I would love to talk to y'all about valuation. Like, how did you decide on valuation? What were you looking at? Did they come to you with a price? Oh, Natalie, you said that, you had 2 experiences with the same company.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about your valuation experiences.
The original Clean Conscience was for sale for $495,000 pre-COVID. And that was through a broker that I had found that. And again, they had 30 employees or 30 cleaners, 6 managers, 5 cars at that time. And an office and equipment, et cetera, and like 300 clients. And then after COVID, it was just completely cut in half. And so my starting point was like, okay, then he's probably looking for, I think he was still looking for 495, but in reality, I said, okay, it's maybe 250 now, maybe half is half. So I'll start there and kind of work backwards. And so that's how I did it. I noticed this list of clients, what they were paying, was lower than my current company. And I was okay with that. And then it just kept on going down because there was his equipment was really, really old. Like it all needed to be replaced. The cars were getting old. They were going to need servicing. So I just started negotiating down. Then, I used to be a category manager for a grocery company. So I have this great negotiating skills. It's like, well, then I'm like, I'm going to think about it. And I went away for a while and then he'd call me back up. And I'm like, well, I negotiated a bonus for the management team to stay in place. Yeah. So then that knocked off about 20 grand because I said, I'll bonus them 10 each if they stay a year. and they didn't. So I just, that was just part of,
More money for you.
yeah. So at the end, he was ready to like probably punch me in the mouth, but here's the glorious thing. I put $10,000 down and he's owner financing for 4 years. And it was, I mean, I'll just tell you the company, I paid $170,000 for it with 4 Priuses and an office and, you know, the client list. And so I feel like I got a really good deal.
Yeah, Cris does too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, your situation is also different because you needed to keep a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
because the different name, right?
Yeah.
A lot of when you're rolling companies up, yeah, you don't really need any of their stuff. You're like,
Right.
your uniforms are trash. Your cars are all labeled the wrong name. Everything's wrong. Right?
Yeah.
You know, the brand equity, the website, just all
Yeah,
of
the
that
website.
basically.
Oh.
You don't.
Yeah, we had to update the website, but like the cars were wrapped. And so that was good marketing that I just was able to save money on there. So, yeah.
Well, you also had, you were able to keep all of your Google reviews, all of
Yes.
that stuff, because keeping the same name.
Although on the Denver side, we lost them in the transition and I was okay with that.
They weren't that good.
Not good enough.
So it's just like, oh well, that's fine.
Caleb, you mentioned that you had, oh shoot, I just lost it. Before, when you were introducing yourself, you said that you had some really good ideas about how to do something. What was it? Remind me.
To save my leads.
Oh, it was Caleb. And do you remember what it was, Caleb?
Sorry.
Shoot. I wish I remembered. I just straight out of
We
my
can
head.
watch the replay.
Yeah. And then everybody's going to be hitting you up for the answer to that question. But
Uh,
what was it?
It will come to you.
I know. I thought
In the
it
middle
had
of the
something to
night.
do with value. I thought it had something to do with valuation, but maybe not. Did you do anything special with valuation? Oh, I know what it was. Good places to find companies. I think you said
Yes.
to purchase.
So with the pest control industry, this was a crazy long shot, but it actually would have worked out if we would have had enough money. The pest control industry, those sell at the multiple times 3 to 5 of what your sales are, regardless of revenue. So that makes a big difference versus cleaning. But
when you say sales versus revenue, you mean
What do you mean?
top line revenue or profit?
top line.
3 to 5 times what the customers are paying you for
Yeah.
pest control.
Correct. So what I was doing is I was going to pest
Why
control.
are we cleaning
conferences.
homes?
I know. I'm like, what, dude? Oh man, that's good money right there.
Why do you
Okay.
think I'm willing to spend a year of money on it?
Yeah. Good point.
So I was going to their conferences to seek out that type of stuff. On the home cleaning front, what we're going to do is really I'm pushing YouTube series that are generated for local businesses to where it's just me talking to a camera about how the transaction's going to go. And I'm going to get that marketed to people through like a QR postcard of just other people who have cleaning companies in the area. I don't know if this is going to work out great.
Yeah.
But you never know when someone wants to sell immediately.
Yeah. I like the idea of a QR code. It's a little bit different than what I've been getting, right? So instead of just that same cheesy letter.
I've heard it said that 10% of the businesses out there are ready to sell at any point in time. You just need to ask at the right time. If you approach 10 companies, one of them will say, yeah, I'm willing to talk about selling.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Cris? Since you have 3 different things going on really quickly, how did you find yours? I mean, I know that one is a partnership where you guys combine. That one obviously is different than the other two, but how did they come to be?
So they basically have come to me. I don't go out and search.
Oh,
And I would say I'm usually pretty active in Facebook groups, and a lot of people are noticing Chris's cleaning. And it's been small companies reaching out and then just kind of like meeting out for lunches and things like that. And then eventually wanting to sell or wanting to do something else with their stuff. So it hasn't been more like me searching out for them.
are you saying something in your, like in these Facebook groups that lead people to believe that you're a good person to contact? No, not at all. Huh?
Nope. So all the Facebook groups that I actually do and that everybody does for me is if someone is looking for a cleaning company out there, they mention my name with the company name, and then my company is actually my name, so it's registered and all that. So they basically go for that. So it's, who do you want your house to be clean? Is Chris is cleaning? Who is Chris? Well, it's Chris. Who is Chris? Well, it's Chris. It's the lady that over there, just all over the place.
Huh.
But that's usually how those other ones have found me, and it's nothing. Basically, they're sent out messages. Sometimes I don't even notice their messages for like a week or so, and I'm like, oh, sure, I'll go. And then they start saying how they're gonna go ahead and sell them. Totally different than how you used to met me. Remember, I would not go out with anybody.
Yeah, I do. Oh, you made me think of something right there too. Well, Tom, did her saying that about just those sitting in her email to remind you of anyone? Just not even looking at them. No,
Yeah, but we're not gonna rat anybody out.
we're not going there today. I would love to hear from, what time is it? Oh yeah, you guys, what were the big things that? Yeah, I didn't think of this. I really wish I would have thought of this. This kind of sucked. This didn't go the way I hoped. What were those things? Only like 2 minutes, because I know there's gotta be some.
It's like buying a house, you're right. So it has a nice coat of paint on it, but then you didn't know that the foundation was cracked. And
Yeah.
so I didn't have money set aside to repair the things that I didn't know needed repairing.
Oh, okay.
And that was one thing that I really learned, that I really should have had instead of using credit cards, which I had never used credit cards with Majestic Domestics, to fix this car, this, that, whatever needed to be fixed. I didn't have the money to do that. So I was kind of like house poor at the beginning, so, but now it's fine. But it took some credit card charges and a little uncomfortable feeling, but we're better now.
All right. So just the idea that have a little bit more money, have some money aside. Don't spend it all.
It's going to cost you more than what you plan on.
Yes.
You want a
yes.
contingency.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. Chris, you were really quickly like, oh yeah. What do you got?
I would say knowing me for my partnership, I would say letting go to the control, and you don't want to do stuff my way, and basically learning to back out in a way that it's like I'm either going to lose it or gain from it. And it's going to be a very expensive learning experience, but I'll learn from that. So that has been the biggest challenge for me. It's an everyday wake up in the morning, laugh about that, and then, oh, okay, but I'm learning. We'll figure this out eventually.
Tuition fees.
There you go. It's your tuition. Is your MIT tuition of a cleaning industry.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So managing yourself, you just gonna have to change it up, do things a little bit differently. Gonna have to change how I respond. All right. How about you, Caleb?
So because I never really answer people's questions the way that they ask them, I'm going to do that this time again.
Yes, you do that.
With the sellers with us, they were very communicative ahead of time and throughout the entire process. Something I've really loved, though, was the clawback clause. meaning, if X amount of clients don't follow over, then that does affect the total price that we pay out. And so it was a year payout term on that. And something that I wish I would have paid better attention to is that just because you think, oh, their office isn't growing, that location is not growing as much as what it could, because the office where it is, you might want to keep that office location and not switch locations. So
right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We waited a year, but yeah, still it was, we would have been better sticking at that other location versus switching.
Okay. So that doesn't really sound a whole heck of a lot different than running our businesses now, right? Whether it's an acquisition or not. Like, how many times have we done something and we're like, really wish I would have thought that out just a little bit more. I mean, Tom, you probably don't have as many of those as I do, obviously.
No, that's not true. We all do that. We all do that.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is pushing the top of the hour. And one thing that I didn't do that I should probably have done is mention that we're going to be doing a couple of live events in Detroit in a couple of weeks, right?
Yep. In
And
Michigan.
we're going to be at Lisa
I'm
Shaw's
there.
place. And
I know Chris is going to be there. Chris, are you coming directly from Sweden?
No, I'm gonna sleep a little bit in Arizona just to get the heat, so I can go get toasty again and go back and then suffer.
And go back to Michigan where it's chilly.
there's all kinds of stuff going on here, and I can't. You changed your website, Liz, so I'm confused.
Just click those arrows on the side, the ones on the left. Yeah. So
Okay,
it'll be
well,
August.
So these are the ones we're doing a one-day AI workshop. Doesn't really have a whole lot directly to do with Made Central, but it's a whole long day of one AI tool after another. In the afternoon, you're going to build your own AI bot. It's really cool. We did it in Chicago, had a lot of fun. And Liz, you're doing a client nurture workshop 2 days after that.
Yep. So on the client nurture workshop, you will build out your client nurture program so that the goal is to at least double your retention numbers. If your customers are currently leaving after 2.5 years, we want to see them not leaving for at least 5 years, right? So hopefully y'all get that math, right? You can keep your clients a lot longer. You don't even have to buy another company. You just keep the ones you already got. So, and then anybody that is going live will also get a client win back program. So that one's created for you, but the client nurture workshop is an actual workshop where you're going to have to do the work.
So to sign up for either one of these, just go to coreprofitbuilders.com, click on events. There's other stuff going on in September and October and so on, but we're not going to talk about those today.
No. We're already out of time.
Cris, Natalie, Caleb, thank you all. This was fun.
Yes.
I enjoyed talking about acquisitions.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, y'all. I like learning about all the little ins and outs too.
So we're going to go ahead and call it a wrap for today, but we'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
See y'all later.
Bye bye.
Bye.